Many mock drafts now have Deandre Ayton and Marvin Bagley going 1-2 to Phoenix and Sacramento. If that happens, that would be a huge mistake on the part of both teams. For the most part, people are ignoring what skills are valuable in the modern NBA. Just because a player is insanely productive in college, that doesn't necessarily mean they'll be valuable players to an NBA team. When you have a top 3 pick in a strong draft, you are ideally looking to draft a player that you can build a franchise around. Teams that have gone from lottery teams to playoff teams in recent years, like the Sixers for example, have done so by drafting a franchise player and then building a team around them. Ayton and Bagley will put up numbers in the NBA, but it's extremely hard for me to envision a winning team that would feature Ayton or Bagley as his best player. Building around a big now is significantly more difficult with the increased value of wings, but this past season, some teams were effective with a big as their best player. Notably, the Pelicans with Anthony Davis, the post-Kyrie injury Celtics with Al Horford, and the Sixers with Joel Embiid. Those 3 players share a lot of similar traits. They're all extremely versatile bigs who can score down low, stretch the floor if needed, but most importantly, are elite defenders. With the increased emphasis on floor spacing in the modern NBA, the paint is more wide open than ever, making it even more important to have an elite rim protector at the center spot, as he will more often than not be the only player near the rim to stop penetration. The Celtics and Sixers were both top 3 defenses in the regular season, and the Pelicans became a top 5 defense after Boogie went down and Anthony Davis was moved to the center spot. So if you're going to build around a center, ideally he needs to be able to protect the rim. The only team that has had success recently with a big that doesn't protect the rim well as their best player is the Nuggets with Nikola Jokic, but that's mainly because Jokic has the passing skills of a guard and is a very consistent shooter. He isn't really a traditional big. So for non-unicorn bigs, you have to be elite defensively because a modern NBA team built around a traditional big likely won't be that great on offense. So are Bagley and Ayton good defenders? Well, no, they're actually pretty terrible. Here's a chart from The Ringer of players with comparable block percentages in college. These players at the NBA level range from mediocre to horrible defensively, so this doesn't really look good for Ayton and Bagley. Offensively, I do expect Ayton to produce early in his career. Bagley is more questionable due to his skinny frame and lack of advanced moves. However, offensive production is not enough for a big on most teams. Look at Jahlil Okafor, who averaged 18 points per game on 51% shooting as a rookie, but was so bad defensively that he struggled to find minutes on the Nets last season. Elite defensive bigs are an extremely valuable commodity. Bad defensive bigs are very detrimental. Bagley and Ayton could put up numbers on a bad team, but based on their NBA projections, they won't be able to survive in a playoff series. Defensive liabilities get absolutely picked apart in the playoffs, especially big men. However, I will say that they certainly have potential to grow into solid defenders. Ayton has the physical profile, but his IQ on defense is lacking. Bagley needs to strengthen up a bit and has short arms, and also needs to improve his defensive rotations and overall knowledge of the game on the defensive side of the ball. It's possible, but it's rare to see transformations like that. Usually bad college defenders don't improve a whole lot in the NBA. I would draft Ayton or Bagley somewhere in the mid-lottery due to their two-way potential, but definitely not in the top 3 when there are other much safer players available with similar ceilings. You are probably wondering who those players are, so let's transition into my big board. Doncic is far and away the best prospect in the draft. He can create his own shot, create shots for others, and is proven against high level of competition. In the EuroLeague, some games he outperformed Goran Dragic, a solid NBA player, and he's just 19 years old. Carter, Jackson, and Bamba are all very similar. They fit into the mold I discussed earlier, of bigs that you can build a team around. Carter is the most complete of the 3. He's kind of like a smaller version of Embiid. He can score down low, step outside and stretch the floor a little, and hit cutters from the high post. Jaren Jackson has the potential to be the best defender in the whole league. Not only is he a lethal shot blocker, but he has shown extreme promise with switching on to perimeter players, which as Al Horford demonstrated is an extremely valuable skill to a defense. Bamba is pretty similar to Jackson. I only have him lower because there are more questions about his outside shot. Ayton, Bagley, and Porter might have the highest upsides in this draft, but they are the most unproven. Unlike the top 4, they all need to add new skills to their game to become elite. The top 4 can basically just develop on what they are already good at to become potentially all-star level players. We discussed what Ayton and Bagley need to improve on defensively. Offensively, they could both stand to improve their outside shot, and if Bagley moves to the 4, he needs to develop a tighter handle and some more advanced moves. Porter is a huge question mark because we've never seen him play against high-level competition. We know he can shoot, but how well can he shoot? If he's only capable of being a 33% shooter from 3 or something like that, that's not good. He also definitely needs to improve his handle to become a lead scorer, as he often settles for deep mid-range shots if he can't get to the rim. Young and Walker are high upside scorers. We know what they can do, we just don't know how well they can do it against NBA defenses. Mikal Bridges is a very safe pick who has potential to become a truly elite perimeter defender and also has some upside as a scorer. This draft could have a large impact on the league due to adding 3 new 3-and-D centers, a rare and valuable archetype, a high-level creator in Doncic, and 3 high upside guys in Porter, Bagley, and Ayton. This figures to be an entertaining draft, and I will make a video with my in-depth thoughts afterwards.